Hey, what's up, Blaze here? Just thought I'd make a video about Turmoil. I just recently ripped to level 91 on Occultist playing Dark Pact. So Dark Pact has been extensively covered since it came out because it is very strong and it is very fun. Maffel has also made a build very similar to this, Occultist Dark Pact crit. So it's kind of pretty much the same build, but I pick up a little bit more life, and that's kind of it really. The playstyle is the same. You've got Profane Bloom going off, which is pretty much the key kind of feature of the build, especially in a race like Turmoil when there's like an abundance of breaches and beyond and stuff. And it's just a lot of fun, really satisfying when you pop a good breach, and it's like the density's there for Profane Bloom to go to work. Some of the best clear speed I've ever had on a solo self-found character. Just the leveling is a bit difficult. Well, not really, but you definitely can't level as DP. There is some innate sort of problems that come into play, especially with the 6% life cost when you cast the skill. It eats away your HP very quickly, and because you don't have the Berserker Leech, playing Occultist is a very big problem. But we'll talk about that later on. The question is, how do you level this character? Dark Pact costs 6% of your life per cast, and you do not have the Berserker Leech, so it kind of makes sustain. The only way you can do it is Warlord's Mark, which is very Monka S on any type of boss. So the easy solution to that is just to play, Essence Drain. Essence Drain, is very slow at the start. It feels bad, and you cannot compete with the ladder because of, the innate speed of Essence Drain being, inferior to Sunder in every single way. But that's just something you have to deal with. You're unable to push hard at the start. You can go as fast as possible, but it's not going to matter. The two-step process, the flame dash, it just falls short. A vendor recipe that's going to help you out a lot during the leveling process is the +1 Chaos Gems wand recipe. It only costs a wisdom scroll to do, because you just buy the Chaos Gem from Nessa in Act 1. Any gem with the Chaos tag works with this, and all you do is trade in the Chaos Gem with any blue wand, and you get the +1 Chaos Gem on the wand. So you want to look out for 2 blues and a green linked wands, or just any free linked wand and use a chromatic on it. It's not that hard to get. But yeah, you kind of need this because later in the game, once you have Control Destruction and Void Manipulation linked to Contagion in a +1 wand, that does enough damage to clear all white packs. And so you basically keep that for the entirety of your leveling process, because as you're running, you just apply a Contagion, and that melts the entire white pack. And it just helps you sort of go faster a little bit and catch up to the ladder with your very slow early game progression. As far as your Essence Drain goes, you pretty much use the same gems. Void Manipulation, Control Destruction. Your fourth one will be Efficacy. You do get a fifth link, then just throw in Swift Affliction or something. But 4 link for the most part, I did Act 10 Katava, I did Merciless Lab. It was, pretty easy, to be honest. There are some very nice benefits to playing Essence Drain at the start that I overlooked. It's been sort of okay clear, but it's very safe. Boss kills themselves are actually some of the easiest boss kills I've ever had, especially Act 10 Katava and Innocence Act 5. You can see here, you apply your dots and the boss just gets melted. Obviously, you need to stay in range of things like Void Beacon, which you pick up on your first Labyrinth. This gives you 20% more multiplier to enemies in range of it, basically an aura, and you want to do that quite early on, level 31, 33, get that as soon as possible. It's a huge damage increase. But for the most part though, Essence Drain, its clear speed does pick up around level 40, 50, then you start to get the kind of competitive, pull back the ladder ranks a bit, Aside from that, it's very tanky as well. You can see here, this exile here in like Act 8, I think, it just can't do anything to me. Once you get the Blasphemy Enfeeble at level 31, it does wonders for your tankiness. You want to pick up regen as well, get the Stone Golem, and you become quite hard to kill. It becomes, very difficult to die once you have Enfeeble up on Blasphemy. So, yeah, I mean, the leveling process, again, very, very easy. Much easier than Sunder, much more chilled out. I quite liked it. In terms of the late game though, you don't. I personally didn't switch till to Dark Pact until I was like level 70. I did my Merciless Labyrinth with Essence Drain, and it was an actual breeze, like so easy. And you know, like I said, the boss killing on this is just super comfortable. When you first start out, just come up here, do this spell damage, life and mana. Once you get to this point, you have the option to get Blast Radius, or you can head straight over to Trophy. I chose to go and skip getting the Radius all the way over here, get the damage, and then get Blast Radius. From there, just come down through the Shadow section, all the way underneath here, into the life. And that's pretty much your early tree. And it's also pretty much all the damage I ever pick up on the tree. So at this point, I'll probably come over here, get this life, and then I would go ahead and do my level 1 Labyrinth and pick up Void Beacon, which is a 20% more damage multiplier as we said previously. Void Beacon gives you enough damage to just be able to travel ahead down here, amplify, then continue all the way down to the Marauder section. It's nice down here because you get the huge regen. It kind of helps out with the golden regen and makes you a bit tankier. So yeah, go over here with this Iron Life Wheel, and that's pretty much the tree you're going to have around Act 8-ish, something like that. And at this point, your damage is good. You have a falling, and you're being carried pretty heavy by Essence Drain. And what I did at this point is I did my Cruel Labyrinth, Profane Bloom. This also helps you clear speed because the packs have been exploded now. And the enemies you curse take 10% increased damage. Is actually a 10% more multiplier. So that's basically almost the same damage as Berserker. 30% more damage on these two nodes. And it really helps out with the leveling process and your damage in general. So you don't have to do too much respecking. So at this point, you want to start preparing for Dark Pact. So start picking up the crit, come up here. You want to come down here, ready for Vol Pact. And you also want to fill out this up here, ready to respec out of this. So at this point, you're level 67. You can also get your power charge stuff as well. And well, actually, you probably want to pick up this first. Get rid of that now. Level 70. Okay, so around level 70, aim for about 4k HP. And then you're ready to do your Merciless Labyrinth. Pick up Forbidden Power. And then after you've done your Merc Lab, you can do Act 10 Katava. And then you're pretty much ready for Dark Pact. So you respec out of both this, pick up Doomcast, and then get your Vol Pact as well. And that's pretty much it, you know. You swap out Enfeeble for Warlord's Mark, and then put on Haste as well. And yeah, you pretty much outleech most of the damage from mobs. And obviously you have to struggle later on with bosses, but we'll talk about that after this. But yeah, that's around level 70. Also want to pick up your power charge stuff, and then fill out the life as well. And then from here, you also want to get this, and then you want to come across here, pick up that, and then respec out of all of that, as well as this node as well. You don't really need all of all the AoE. And just, I'm not so sure if you actually get +1 radius, because you can't see the radius on the gem. But I mapped with this, without these two nodes, and it felt fine. It's much more efficient to get rid of all of this, so you can get Throat Seeker. And that is approximately level 79. So, yeah. How much life is that? 200% life. You can come up here, maybe get this, or if you want more crit, you can come up here. 85. Yeah, you've got some options. A lot of dual sockets you can get, but the only issue with the dual sockets is if you're playing solo self-bound, it's difficult to get nicely rolled jewels. If you're not playing solo self-bound, I would get the easy 2-point jewel socket. And you're already in your 90s at this point. Yeah, that's pretty much the tree and the progression of the build. You've respected into Dark Pact now, everything's awesome. Profane Bloom is destroying all the breaches, all the beyond mobs, and you're getting a shitload of loot XP and you're just having fun, right? Well, there is a major drawback to this build at the start. and that is the Warlord's Leech on bosses. So bosses have 80% less curse effectiveness, and with Warlords being 2%, you only get 20% of that 2%, which is not enough to sustain a 6% cost of your HP. So there's no way around it. It's a struggle at the start. There's Vault Summon Skeletons to help you out, but it's very unreliable, especially when you get to the point in the game when you're trying to do content like excavation, which you can see here. I'm trying to get my Shaper Orb so I can shape Racecourse and just spam the hell about when breaches come on that map. And there's no real thing about it really. It's just a risk. You need to gear up first before you do it. Once you pull it off though, and you get the breach maps and stuff, it's so much fun. So much. Clay Speed's awesome. But yeah, I kind of like it though personally. The challenge and the Monka S sort of situation, going balls deep in that and stuff. It's really up to you if you want to deal with that massive con, because it is a massive con. There are actually free options you can use to sort of help with the leech. One of them is Edziri's Promise, which is gated behind a huge 1v1 fight, so you can't really get that where you can, but it's very risky. I didn't try it myself. I just dealt with it. Another one is the unique shield, where the faded version of Chalice of Horrors. This has a 1% damage leech to cursed enemies, but that's gated by the fact that you need to find the unique in the first place, as well as get the prophecy to fade it, so you're probably never going to get that. And the other option that I know of is the Essence of Delirium, that gives you a flat 0.5% leech to chaos damage. So all of these options are pretty much RNG, or the super risk of trying to do Uber Edziri, just normal Edziri, sorry. Yeah, that's entirely up to you. I personally just struggled through. Once you get a 6-link and enough crit multi, your damage kind of outscales the Volpack, the Warlord's Mac sort of less cursed effectiveness on bosses. So yeah, that's the only major drawback to this build. Other than that, it's awesome. The last thing I'll show is the DPS numbers in Path of Building. I'll just go over my stuff. We do have Power Charges on, Onslaught Flask up, and Diamond Flask up. This is not on a boss. The DPS is 300k on a 6-link. The gems are Dark Pact, Spell Echo, Added Chaos, Critical Strikes, Controlled Destruction, and Void Manipulation. There is the option to use Conk Effect, which I think is better than Added Chaos. So you can push it up to 350k if you really need a single target, but I usually just ran Added Chaos when I found it for the feels goodness. There is also the option to use Arcane Surge, which is a 35% multiplier, because it gives you cast speed and % more, which I think is slightly better by a very small margin than Added Chaos. But if you get an early 6-link, I probably would go Arcane Surge. But yeah, my setup had 300k without Wither enabled, so you turn on Wither, get a modest 10 stacks. That turns me up to what? Wither disabled. It's Wither. There we go. So yeah, Wither gives us 63% more damage. So 500k damage-ish on a boss with 10 stacks of Wither. But I don't really like to include that. So yeah, gear. My dagger is awful. Has a really mediocre crit chance roll on it and some spell damage. And if we had a good dagger, we'd probably push our damage up by like another 50, 100k, something like that. 50 to 100k, I mean. The shield is okay. No spell damage on it, but it did have crit roll on it and a nice life roll. The gloves are just like life and HP, and might have a carcass jack as well. That's 42% area damage. It's quite a big DPS increase actually, so carcass jack is quite a big deal. Gloves don't really matter because you need life. Calm's roots for HP and stuff, and stun immunity. For amulet you can get crit multi on that, and it is a big deal if I turn that off. See, it's another 30k there. So yeah, getting crit multi is pretty important for the build. You can get crit multi on rings and just fight chaos damage, but it's gated behind essences. So yeah, there's no way you're gonna get that on Sword Selfbound. And for a belt, you just want a leather belt with huge life rolls on it. So yeah, the key sort of things is a Carcass Jack, an amulet with crit multi on it. You're gonna get most of your damage from your weapon and shield. So yeah, obviously flasks. We have diamond. I found a taste of hate, but basalt instead of that. A silver flask as well. You can do anything you want with this. I ran a quicksilver because I like it. And then obviously jewels. You want to look out for anything with crit multi on it. Very hard to find. Yeah, I'm curious actually. So let me craft a dagger here. Let's see what we can get if we had a juiced up platinum crisp. I'm not going to make it unrealistic. It's going to be pretty good though. Obviously I want a decent roll on it like that. 80%, 30 like that. What is that? 20% more damage. That takes me up to 366k if you had a good dagger. Shield. See what we can get here. Titanium shield. Get rid of all this stuff. You want a juiced roll, 90 life. Huge spell damage roll, say 70%. And then a little bit of cast speed as well. Let's see what that gives us. Boom, 400k. So, you know, your dagger and your shield can give you immense amounts of damage. You know, you turn on your Wither Totem at 10 stacks and you're doing 600k damage. So, and that's the numbers, that's the DPS right there if you're interested. Yeah, that pretty much concludes it. Average K, 75k. And more than enough to bring back your leech. So yeah, 10k and a hit. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it.